So we're going to be looking at multiplying whole numbers by multiples of 10, 100 and 1000. Let's look at 3 multiplied by 40. 40 is 4 lots of 10, 4 multiplied by 10. I'm going to rewrite the line to look like this. So I've got 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 10. So I've rewritten the 40 as 4 multiplied by 10. Now let's do the 3 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 12. So we now have 12 multiplied by 10. And then of course 12 multiplied by 10 is 120. Now, if we look at the original question, which was 3 multiplied by 40, we can see that the 3 multiplied by 4, I'll underline the 3 and I'll underline the 4, we know that that's 12, and we can see the 12 in our answer. And then, because we were multiplying by 10, we had 4 lots of 10, remember, so we have to multiply by 10. And of course, that's represented by the naught, and we see that naught in our answer. If we did 60 multiplied by 7, well, 60 is 6 lots of 10, 6 multiplied by 10. So let's rewrite this and rewrite 60 as 6 multiplied by 10. So we now have 6 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 7. Multiplication is commutative. What that means is, for example, 2 multiplied by 3 is the same as 3 multiplied by 2. So I'm going to rewrite this so it says 6 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 10. It's the same as 6 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 7. I haven't altered the answer. Now let's do 6 multiplied by 7, which is 42. So we have 42 multiplied by 10. Then we end up with the answer 420. Again, let's look at the original question, which was 60 multiplied by 7. So we have the 6 and the 7. 6 multiplied by 7 is 42. And then, of course, we have the naught. Remember, the naught is representing the 10 because we had 6 lots of 10. So we then put the naught on the end. So hopefully you can see what's going on. 70 multiplied by 5, therefore, I look at the 7, I look at the 5. 7 multiplied by 5 is 35, so I write that down. And then, of course, we've got the naught. Remember, that naught is representing the 10 because we had 7 lots of 10. So we now multiply by 10, which is adding that naught on the end. Of course, this extends to multiplying by multiples of 100. In this case, 200 multiplied by 7, so we've got 2 lots of 100. So if I rewrite 200 multiplied by 7 as 2 multiplied by 100 multiplied by 7, and then let's rewrite that as 2 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 100. So 2 multiplied by 7 is 14, so we have 14 multiplied by 100, and 14 multiplied by 100 is 1400. So the same principle applies. If we look back at the original question, 200 multiplied by 7, we have the 2 and the 7. Multiply those together, we get 14. Remember, we were multiplying by 100, and that's represented by those 2 noughts. And then we add those noughts onto the end, so we end up with 1400. So let's look at 3 more questions. So we have 80 multiplied by 400. So we look at the 8 and the 4. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. Here we have 8 lots of 10. So we have to multiply by 10. And also we've got 2 noughts here because we've got 4 lots of 100. So we have to multiply by 10 and then we have to multiply by 100. So we end up with 3 noughts on the end. We end up with 32,000. I'll break down that question for you. Here's the answer, just so you can see what's going on. So we can see that I've broken the numbers down into 8 multiplied by 10 and 4 multiplied by 100. I've then jiggled it around, and you can see then that I've got the 32, then I'm going to be multiplying it by 10 and then multiplying it by 100. Let's look at another question. We have 60 multiplied by 500. So 6 multiplied by 5 is 30, and then we have our 3 noughts, because we're going to be multiplying that 30 by 10, and then we're going to be multiplying by 100. So we end up with the answer 30,000. And then finally, we've got 40 multiplied by 9,000. So we do the 4 multiplied by the 9, which is 36. Now remember, we've got 4 lots of 10, so we're going to be multiplying by 10, represented by this naught here, and then we're going to be multiplying by 1,000, represented by these 3 noughts here. So we have the 36, then we're going to multiply by the 10, and then we're going to multiply by the 1,000. So we end up with 360,000. And there's the calculation broken down for you. So here's some questions for you to try. So pause the video and have a go, and when you've completed the questions, press play and I'll go through the answers. Question 1. 5 multiplied by 40 is equal to 200. Question 2. 50 multiplied by 8 is equal to 400. 7 multiplied by 20 is 140. Question 4. 4 multiplied by 90 is 360. Question 5. 60 multiplied by 9 is 540. Question 6. 50 multiplied by 30 is 1,500. Question 7. 40 multiplied by 80 is 3,200. Question 8. 700 multiplied by 700 is 490,000. Question 9. 200 multiplied by 90 is 18,000. Question 10. 60 multiplied by 400 is 24,000. So there's a brief look at multiplying whole numbers by multiples of 10, 100 and 1000. I hope you found the video helpful, and thank you for watching.